Now, specifically, as I told you, the closing failure risk thing, this is the thing that haunts me. This is the thing that it crushes me when I see my clients get to that closing table. And I've been there way too many times to count. And the situation always looks the same. When I reach in my pocket and I pull out the pen to hand it to them, when I'm saying, here is a life-changing moment for you. Congratulations. You are now no longer a burnt-out workaholic. You are a wealthy investor. They look back at me with dark, clouded look in their eyes, don't grab my pen, and are just staring. And I'll tell you why. Because behind those eyes, the cloud, the confusion, is 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears they poured in that business. It is the thing that they love more than anything in this world, maybe more than their children for some of these people. And they're about to give it all away to a stranger. That is a huge decision. And it's one that you don't want to be sitting at that table without having gone through the D.E.C.I.D.E decision gates and know exactly, with clarity, confidence, and control, how you're going to do this whole process start to finish. So let's talk about that. Like I said, it's simpler than you're thinking. So the D.E.C.I.D.E decision gates framework, that's 6 gates for one decision, whether to sell your business or not. So, D.E.C.I.D.E, that's an acronym. Let's go through the parts. Remember, break it up. We're going to break the parts up of our big decision. The first D is your drivers. Your E, emotional direction. This is, are you running away from something or to something? C, clarity. What number do you need? What's your legacy going to be? I, identify your timeline. What's the urgency? Is it life, market, or is there no urgency? The second D, deal essentials. Now this is where we're going to take those the previous steps and pour it all into your 3 to 5 non-negotiables, the same thing that Howard had on his card. And we're not going to talk about today, but the last step, E, is go engage the right kind of support based on who you are, what you need, and who you're selling to. So the D.E.C.I.D.E decision gates. I can't go into all 6 today, just don't have enough time, but we're going to talk about and go deep into 2, the important ones. First one, drivers. Now drivers is the one that my clients hate more than anything. I have got to corner them, lock the doors in the office, throw away the key, and say, we're not leaving until you tell me why you're selling your business. And you know what their answer is? Paper it up, lawyer. I don't know why I'm selling my business. Well, that's a big problem. Remember what I told you about the dark, cloudy eyes at the closing table when I give them the pen? That's what happens if you don't figure this out early and before the wild ocean of chaos that is your M&A process. You've got 20 different people coming at you. I need Excel spreadsheets. I need your schedules. I need your budgets. I need all this crap, right? And you're like, I just want a check. Just direct deposit in my bank account. That's all I want. Well, before all that happens, you got to figure out what you actually do want. And the answer might be a wire, straight to this account number. And if that's the answer, so be it. But I can tell you in my entire experience doing this, it is not that simple. So let me tell you about Allison. Allison is my client. She had an environmental services company and kind of had a quasi lock the door type situation. but I invited her over to my office. She comes over straight from the field. She's got her safety gear on her phone. We call her Miss Speed Demon because this lady literally never sat down. She has been up and moving. She probably, at the hospital when she was born, jumped out of the crib and started running around, texting on her phone. It took all I could just to get her to look up at me in the eyes. But you know what she did? She built a tremendous company. That same flaw of being Miss Speed Demon is this thing that made her so successful in building this company up to this regional dominant player, highly sought after by mega public companies and private equity. So I have her in this room, and I say, Allison, over here, why are you selling your company? Even without looking up, she tells me there are 3 external factors, because in the drivers, the key part of getting your drivers right is to identify 3 external factors. These are things like market conditions, the things you normally think of, and 3 internal factors. These are more of your psychological. What is it about you that makes it time to sell and want to sell? You got to do both, and you got to force the separation of the 2 and independently answer those questions. So she gives me the 3 external factors. She says, competitor consolidation, regulatory complications. Multiples are higher for her industry sector than they've ever been, ever. Like 10 times higher. Like, this is sexy stuff here. Environmental services is like gold for some of these private equity firms. Huge multiples. But you know what? That's not really why she's selling her company. In fact, that's the answers, the reason she could rattle them off so quickly. That's what the investment bankers who are courting her were telling her why she should sell. So she was just parroting back to me what the bankers told her. So then I said, okay, that's great, great news. Now tell me about the 3 internal ones. What about these? And she said, oh, I don't know. But she put her phone down and she looked up for the first time. We were getting somewhere. We were moving somewhere. Finally, after questioning, asking her about her life, kids, family, whatever, just digging in deep, places that people don't want their lawyers to go. But hey, we're here. She says, I'm burnt out. This company's worn her out, right? Second, she says, I find she's got this passion for this environmental tech thing that she wants to go pursue. And this business is holding her back, even though it's making a ton of money, super successful, it's not her passion anymore. And then I said, I need a third. You know, make it up if you got to make it up. And that's when it really happened. The real reason that she was selling her company. Her eyes welted up, tears started forming in her eyes as she looked at me, and she told me, you know what? You know why I really want to sell this company? My dad. He's 76 years old, and he doesn't have much time left. I just want him to see me finish something in my life. Now that's a deep reason to sell your business. That's the type of thing that makes it very clear what kind of process that you need. And you don't get there, you don't get that deep into your soul to figure out why you're doing this, why you're making this big, most important decision of your working life and career so far, until you've separated that out, independently assessed it, gated the question, and you don't move on until you have an answer. That's the only way you figure that out.